Leaders from 8 Amazonian countries are holding a final day of talks in Brazil aimed at trying to coordinate their response to deforestation. This is the first time the Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization has met in 14 years. The link between deforestation and man-made climate change is long established. Brazil is particularly vulnerable to the loss of rainforest. President Lula has said he wants to end deforestation there by the year 2030. Well, let's talk to Rachel Garrett, Moran Professor of Conservation and Development at the University of Cambridge. Professor, welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for your time. No deal? I mean, is this a failure, a success, or something in the middle? What's the analysis?
Well, I think we'll know in the future. It's hard to say right now. I think the event itself is really important because, as you said, it hasn't happened in 14 years. And I've actually heard good things, positive things about the desire to work more together, more cooperatively, rather than each country doing it alone, and a sort of unified vision around where the region wants to go in terms of positive developments, not just blaming and shaming regarding things that are going wrong. And I think all of this is really good and really positive right now, with President Lula really steering the ship and being so prominent because he's very pro-environmental, very pro-indigenous rights, and has made some very bold commitments to zero deforestation in the Amazon. And so all of that is something to be very optimistic about. But it really has to materialize, and what I think these leaders are looking for is also a change of tone from the international community in terms of not just shaming and pressuring the region, but actually committing financial resources and scientific knowledge towards solving these challenges. What
do you say to those people who just shrug their shoulders and say, do you know what, this is just too little, too late?
Oh, it's absolutely not too late. There's a huge amount of the forest remaining. 80% of the Amazon forest is remaining. It's the biggest success story in the world in terms of how much deforestation was actually reduced in the last 2 decades. There was a big setback when Michael Temer and Jair Bolsonaro took leadership positions in Brazil, and also during the same period there was a lot of rollbacks and setbacks as well throughout the basin in many different countries. But we did see a huge shift, a huge reduction in deforestation after 2004, and then it just started going back up again after 2015, and it's still lower than it was at its peak. So those are all good things, and it's definitely not the time to take the foot off the gas pedal. It's the time to double down, and we know a lot more. We have better information, better knowledge than before. We have a new vision. The region, the scientists are amazing, the grassroots organizations are amazing, the indigenous communities are increasingly powerful. And they now have some ideas about how to grow the value chains and create value and enhance value from the standing forest. And all of that is actually very good.
What would the best possible outcome be from this gathering?
I think a unified vision of exactly what types of deforestation control efforts need to be increased. Some cooperative level deforestation monitoring processes, the establishment perhaps of a central intelligence and data portal for monitoring these items, more of a Amazon basin-wide initiative to attract funding, finance for avoided deforestation, whereas before it was very country level, and that to some extent is necessary, but the greater the scale, the more important it is to avoid spillovers between countries. So I think those types of international cooperation is the best case scenario, as a contrast from go-it-alone approach. And I think an additional really important thing to come out of this is some unified vision about something called the socio-bioeconomy, which is the idea of not just trying to control problems, but how do we want to create value? How do you want to brand the Amazon? It's actually the home to all of these potential products and value that no other region can produce in terms of medicinal value and food products and cosmetics and all sorts of cultural heritage and the most diverse indigenous groups in the world. So I think that's the best case scenario, projecting that image forward in a cooperative way and working together.
Professor, good to talk to you. I'm sure we'll have you back on the programme again soon. Professor Rachel Garrett at Cambridge University.
Thank you.